Hey everyone, and welcome to FranTastic InSights. My name is Joan Winchester, and I'm the Vice President of Strategic Partnerships with FranServe. FranServe is the world's largest franchise consulting organization, and what we do is we help brands grow by providing them with warm candidate introductions that can be prospective franchisees for them. FranServe is a network of some of the top industry consultants, and we're super excited today to be able to share with you a very innovative brand in the fitness category. I'm really fortunate because we have the Vice President of Acting Franchise Development for BODYBAR Pilates, and that's Mike Baguley. Mike, hey, welcome to FranTastic InSights.
Hey, so glad to be here. Hello, FranServe. Excited to be chatting with you today.
So, Mike, I know you have a ton of industry experience. So, what's attracted you to BODYBAR?
That's a great question. I have been in the industry for about a decade now. I've owned multiple franchises myself, and so I've been able to see behind the scenes of ownership, plus being in the development chair for a decade. And BODYBAR has really stood out to me as just a very strong, supportive, and robust system put in place for a long time. They've been doing this for a decade now. They've opened 74 studios, and every one of those studios is still open and still operating. The brand has had zero closures and zero failures. To me, that's a pretty unique feather in their cap, and one of the many reasons why I'm excited to be representing them.
Sure, sure. I mean, Pilates is so hot. I mean, what is going on in the industry?
Yeah, the industry is absolutely exploding. As of 2 years ago, is evaluated about $150 billion space. And over the next decade, it's estimated to climb to about 420 billion. So there's massive, massive tailwinds driving this opportunity. And it's really coming from two consumer habits. One of which about 85% of consumers are now saying that daily fitness and wellness is a top priority. Walks are free, meditation's free, but 75% of that group are actually putting their money where their mouth is, meaning they're spending more money today on those membership categories with things like Pilates than they ever have been before in the past. And so there's just massive tailwinds driving this opportunity.
So, what makes BODYBAR unique? What are the key differentiators?
Yeah, well, when it comes to the Pilates space, first and foremost, right now, most of the competitors out there usually focus on one of two ends of the spectrum. Either more of a classical Pilates, which is more beginner and intermediate as far as difficulty goes. It's more long and leaning, and it's not super high intense. Or you have the other end of the spectrum, which is a very intense workout, very difficult and athletic. Most of the competitors or concepts focus on one of those two categories. What makes BODYBAR really unique and different is we come in and bridge the gap between those two while encompassing them. Where our competitors have 4 workout options, we have 8 different workout options, beginning with classical Pilates, going through beginner into intermediate, through that advanced athletic workout that's more muscle building. So someone like my wife, who's 6 feet tall, she's been long and lean her whole life, she does Pilates for muscle. And so she takes a more advanced or athletic class to be able to do that. And what makes us unique is that then gives our members, our customers, more workout options. It gives them more opportunities to transform their body and their health and wellness over a much longer period of time. It also gives them the flexibility today to do a hard class and maybe tomorrow to take a more intermediate or basic class. So they just have those options within one house versus having to have a membership here or there.
So, tell me about what qualities you look for and who is the ideal candidate for BODYBAR Pilates?
Yeah, well, no guesswork here. Again, we've been doing this for 10 years, right? And so been there, done that, got that t-shirt and refined it many, many times. When I speak with your candidates on intro calls, I actually show them a list of the ideal qualities or characteristics of our candidates. Those aren't made up. Those come directly from our average and above average performing franchise owners, whether they're attorneys, doctors, chemical engineers, sales individuals, Pilates instructors. I have walks of life of male and female owners. The commonality is they have background in business, sales, customer service, or marketing as far as just general industries, or they have experience in team leadership, right? Program management. They're people oriented And number one, they've got to be wellness and fitness minded. We don't need our owners to be Pilates experts or Pilates princesses. If they are, that's two thumbs up. That's great. It's a cherry on the top. But I have many, many owners that have come to us with limited to no experience in Pilates, but they have the background, the strength and candidacy to be a great operator. We can teach them the Pilates. We have that all in place. The brand has a beautiful infrastructure for certification so that you can bring trainers in and instruct them and train them up quickly. But those backgrounds of love of community, fitness, and wellness are really, really key for us.
But can you talk a little bit about the training and the support?
So the brand has extensive training and support. And again, because they've been doing this for 10 years, they have a ton of data and metrics that go along with that. So whether there's, online training, in-person training, or the brand also sends certified master instructors to the franchisees' locations to then certify their instructors there. But that training is very, very robust. It goes through everything on how do we onboard and train these individuals? How do we coach them? How do we manage them? How do we hold them accountable? How do we incentivize them? But there's a process in place for every one of those steps along the way.
So tell me about the ideal markets and your expansion plans for 2026.
Yeah, great question. So here we are in 2026. There's 74 studios open and operating in roughly 30 states. This calendar year, we already have opening dates for 70 more studios on the calendar. So we've got massive growth in place. By the way, there's a support team of 30 W-2 corporate employees who are managing that growth and supporting those franchise owners. In the US right now, we have sold a little over 200 territories, and we have only sold out Wichita, Kansas. Of all the markets, Wichita,
Wow.
Kansas has 4 locations in it, but we have wide open territory across the majority of the country. The Dallas-Fort Worth and the Tampa area of Florida are probably most sold out, but I still have plenty of availability in Texas and in Florida, California, New York, Illinois, across the country, New Jersey, major markets, Philly, wide open.
Great. And did you talk a little bit about the timeline to open?
Yeah, so the timeline to open from signing the franchise agreement till your doors are now open and operating is roughly a 9 to 11 month window. The build out, the training, the pre-sales, that's a 4 to 6 month window. That's dialed down. We got that. The delta then is real estate. We are looking for Class A real estate. And so what real estate is available? Do you find that lease in a month or 3 months? And that kind of taps on that 9 to 11 month window.
So, okay, here's a tough question for you. It's probably not tough one. Can you tell me a little bit about maybe one individual in particular, franchisee, that you can think of that actually being a BODYBAR Pilates franchisees changed their life?
Yeah, I mean, I think we actually have several examples of that. One of my favorite ones is maybe with Colin and Heidi. There are franchise owners in Utah. They have one studio opened and operating and are in process of looking for their second one. But Heidi had an injury of sorts and found Pilates just on her own and was doing Pilates at the competitors and really liked it, had made a big change and difference in her life and healing her. And she was like, man, why don't I put my time and efforts and energies into building something to provide people that same type of scenario? Her husband, if I remember correctly, worked in the tech space and sales or programming on the back end. And he quit his job, she quit her job, and they're both full-time owner operators in the business, both having roles at the studio and building their community. And just seeing them kind of transition both from, the 9 to 5 corporate, begging for time off, whatever, to now living their life, their studio's rocking and rolling, and they're growing into a second one. It's just given them the flexibility to live their life in the way that they want. And I think for me, that's something that I really identify with, having owned a franchise in the past, another one today. In addition to any income, it's the lifestyle opportunity to be at your kid's event or to go on the weekend trip or whatever it is. And I've really seen that in Heidi and Colin.
Yeah, I mean, what could be more rewarding, than changing people's lives, right? Through franchise ownership. I mean, many people think about it and talk about it, but franchising actually makes that a possibility and a reality for many. So
Absolutely.
you did touch on this a little bit about the lifestyle of a Body Bar Pilates owner. If there's anything else you want to comment on that?
One thing that I actually find kind of unique about this brand, maybe compared to any other brand that I've represented or learned about, we talk about in this space owner operator, and in that case, you, the franchisee, are basically that general manager, right? Wearing that hat. And then we talk about semi-absentee or executive ownership, where they would then hire that manager to run the day in and day out. And as I look at a lot of our mature franchise owners who've been in the system for a couple of years now, it seems that it's very, very common that they are hiring out what we call studio manager, general manager. They're hiring out that studio manager role. That person is then the one opening and closing the studio and managing those pieces. And then the franchisee does not have to have a role within the studio that they have to show up for. They can fit and fill in as they need for the team and run the business how they would like to, putting their time into going into the community, hosting events or whatever it is that they would like to do. And I think that this brand, the systems that are in place, the EBITDA that we have, the bottom line, allows these owners to hire those individuals and still make the returns that they're looking for.
Super. So thanks, Mike, for sharing, background on Body Bar and your experiences as well. Do you have any last thoughts for our audience today before we wrap up?
Yeah.
Anything else
So
you want to tell us about Body Bar?
yeah, for sure, for sure. So we just talked about how we've had 10 years of this growth and success and no failures and no closures. I told you we've got 30 W-2, staff. We have a support system. It's robust, all of the great things that everyone tells you. But let's talk proof and pudding. Again, zero closers and zero failures has got to at minimum indicate we have a very robust system and support team with leadership that has their thumb on the pulse of the industry in this business. But some of the proof in the pudding that I like to talk about with candidates is our pre-sale program. In this business, you can do pre-sales. And as a result of it's a 16-week window that they're doing pre-sales, digital marketing, in person, all of the things, it's all supported there. Our average franchisee on day one is signing up 221 members. Your given community, whether you're in Philly or California or Iowa, you're charging 200 and 225 bucks as a baseline monthly membership. So you got 221 people signed up at $200. Day one, that's over $40,000 in recurring revenue that repeats month after month. Our top franchisee in the item 19 that was first year location opening had nearly 400 members on day one. That's like $80,000 in recurring revenue. So this business pre-sales and cash flows very, very quickly. You have franchise owners talking day one, month one, all of the time getting to that cash flow point because of the pre-sale system, which takes so much stress and pressure off of you as a business owner. Any of us that have gone and built a business, until you get to that cash flow point, you're just kind of like, man, pleading and praying that we can make it, right? And with this brand, they have such dialed in systems. The average franchisee is getting there very, very quickly. And I think that's a powerful feather in our cap as well.
Huge, huge feather in your cap. So congratulations to you on the success, and thanks so much for sharing your passion with us today. We really appreciate your time. Thanks, Mike, for being with us.
Hey, thanks so much. Excited to work with you guys.